Well, the world has ended for a lot of people in regard to any progress. I mean, if you take whole countries, certainly many of the places around the planet, people are living in abject poverty and hunger and pain and fear, and that is where they live, and that is where their consideration of what this is all about is formed in that place. So
that's interesting to think about too, like how where we are affects our perspective on it.
And that begs like the next question, rather than why were we born in this time, why were we born right here, you know?
Why here?
Why was I like born in a family that doesn't have any sort of like capacity for this stuff?
Same.
See, Christianity has no answer for that as a religion. There's no answer for that except fantasy. Other religions like Hinduism, Buddhism have some answers. They're pretty good for a while. But if you follow them through, they're just as dead-ended as Christianity. They don't have any real, they don't make any sense. So we have to get back to grassroots. That's what we're doing here. And hopefully a lot of people will listen to this and get a lot of insights. We're back to grassroots and we're saying, wait, let's start over. What are you doing here? What are you here for? If this was an educational institution, if we can just, let's take that one premise and say, okay, this is an educational institution. The planet is the institution, and we're in it. And the laws that relate to it, the cosmic laws, the social laws, they're all part of the school. You were put in this is your boarding school. What's here for you? You can fight it.
Ooh, I know what it is. You don't, like, especially for higher education, like college and stuff, you don't go to any school, you choose one that suits you best. So then you go to, like, an environment or a plane that suits you best where you'll learn what you need to
Great
learn.
idea. So listen, and at younger ages, you don't get to go where you want. You go where you're put. But as you get older,
So you choose it more.
and you can participate in the thought about it, and then the decision, you get to decide. Now, at that age, a lot of people may fight you. You get a little older, and maybe you just have full say. I had full say. Nobody said to me, why are you going to that school? It was like I was in my late 20s and starting another whole education. Nobody said, well, why are you studying psychology? I was evolved enough to say, this is what I'm going to do. So here again, we're in a place. Again, if we take this premise for now, based on our discussion here that's going on, if we can agree that this is an educational institution, for the time being, that's our platform, we can learn a lot here. We can see the relationships, we can see the subjects that we're learning.
Everything is the guru.
Everything is back to the teacher and the student, the guru principle. The
'Cause
guru
if you
principle.
take it out of here, like, what am I here right now with you guys to do? And then, if this is what I'm here to do with you, and I think it's what I want to do, then why would I not apply that to everything else that I do? Why would I not act this way all the time?
And that question is a promotional question for you. Someone else might say, well, why should I? I really don't want to do anymore. And that's okay. Then the professors at this level say, go on your way.
Well, it's interesting that when you ask, like, what are we here to do? Like, what are we here for? As in, like, the human race, human beings, whatever. And we said, learn, grow, whatever. But then what my answer would be if you said, what are you here to do?
Just you.
Just you. And, like, my answer would be to be free. But what does that mean?
Well, we'd fill in the gap between I'm here to learn and I'm here to be free. We'd fill that in. How does I'm here to learn, support, promote, I want to be free.
Well, yeah, but then what does being free mean?
Well, okay, so let's stick with that. This is really good. Let's stick with this. So you're already pushing me in this category. I'm learning to be free. Can we say that much?
Yes.
I'm learning how to be free. Are each of you freer than you were a year ago or not?
Yeah.
See, you shake your head furiously. Yes. Yes. You wouldn't go backwards, would you? No, because what you've learned in school and here, these kinds of things, have benefited you in a way that you wouldn't want to be without them. So now the next question is, can you conceive of the possibility that if you continue this modality, learning in this dimension, in this degree, learning about why you're here so you can be free, that what you're experiencing now in terms of insights would continue? Would you assume that it would continue if you just keep learning? Would you also assume, now this is, everybody listen, would you also assume that you would be happier as you are happier today than you were a year ago?
Yes and no.
Go on.
It all depends on how you deal with what you're learning, you know? Because, like, I don't know, me personally, I'll get really, like, cynical about certain concepts and, like, get angry towards them rather than take them for what they are and grow for it, you know? So I guess depends on how you handle it all.
So if you handle it from a negative perspective, you go like that.
Yeah, you're going down.
If you handle it from the perspective that you have mainly handled it in the last year, should it improve or not?
You'd think so.
You would think so.
Yeah.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? Well, if you were less happy at one time and more happy at another time, you know it is on a continuum, for sure. Is it on a continuum only from between 1 and 3? Or 0 and 10? Or negative 20 and positive 50? Or where does it stop?
It doesn't.
We would assume it doesn't stop.
Oh, but it does.
Go on.
It doesn't stop, it just goes like this. And it's constant. Like, then there's no change. Because if it's going up, then there's always a potential that it could go down. But if it's steady and it doesn't move, then it can't go down or up. It's like what we were talking about. Like, if you offered up to people, would you sacrifice pleasure for pain? Like, if you could not feel pain or pleasure, would you do that? Or would you want to feel pain in order to feel pleasure?
I want neither.
And a lot of people would say that they want the pain so that they can feel the pleasure. But if you think about what it means to not feel either one, you wouldn't know a good or a bad, really. If you, it's a hard one. But
have you experienced a place where you're neither in pain, discomfort, or having pleasure? Yes.
oh my God, it's like a third option.
Yes, it is. It's the only
Oh,
option.
that was a really good insight. It's like a
It's
third
the
option.
only
It's just
option.
an emotion that we haven't experienced yet. And like, obviously, it's not an emotion. We just don't know what else to call it. But
It's the
it's
place
something else.
It's the place you experience in deep meditation.
Because
You go first.
okay, because when you're pulled by, like you said, like it's up or down, like you can be pulled either way. If you just reject both of them, and like you're not pulled by either of them, like it's free. It's like you're
Correct.
not.
Correct. And then if you have that skill, imagine you can reject your needs.
Yeah.
And what I was gonna say, it's like, it's hard for some people to kind of see that, because like, as we are human, we view it from very human terms. Like you were saying, we call it a feeling because we don't know what to call it. So it's like a hard space for humans to perceive, I guess. That's what I was gonna say. Because like, how can you perceive nothing, you know?
yeah, because if there's nothing, there has to be something to know that there is nothing.
Okay, so let's go into that for a moment. Let's do a little experiment,
Okay.
a thought experiment. You're sitting in your house and you are reading a book and you're enjoying the book. It's a novel or it's a fantasy book. You're reading Illusions or something and you're enjoying it. Okay? You with me? And as you read and sit there, you realize that you're thirsty. There's a thirst. But you like the book, so you keep reading. You're enjoying what's coming next. But after a while, you realize this thirst is pulling, tugging at you. This is a need. So you put the book down, you put your book down, you put your pleasure down, your enjoyment down, and you go get a drink. And you drink enough, whatever you got, to neutralize your need. The thirst, the need, the thirst. This is biological need. Could be emotional. You're wondering where your child is, and you go upstairs and see that she's sound asleep, and you feel good about that, and your disturbance is neutralized. And so you go back to your book. And you start to read your book again, and now you've got a little bit of psychological pleasure again. But you reach a place where you say, I don't need this anymore. I'm done with that. Like any pleasure, like done with cookies or done with candy. And you put your book down. Have you never done this? And you put your book down, and for a moment, there is no pleasure or pain or need or unneed. There is just contentment. Just pure contentment. There is no thought. Have you never experienced that place? You have. Yeah. Right? There is the still point. And that's our purpose. That's what we're moving toward, the still point. And that's the purpose of all of this work and all this education, is to show you the kinds of insights and help you gather them together so you can get to a place like this. The only purpose is to end all positive and negative, all polarities, and wind up at the still point where nothing is happening, where there is only pure contentment. No pleasure, just contentment. Watch. Do one thing for me. Just take one deep breath and watch the whole thing as you do it. If you were able to watch that breath, you were having a taste of the still point. Do it one more time. If you're able to watch that breath without other thoughts coming in, thinking about, am I doing it right? Or this feels good, you were at the still point. And that's the purpose of all of the work that we do, to understand that all the insights are supports and prompts, like there's more. So go on, learn more. You reach a point where all of your deeds, all of your thoughts are good. They're more and more improved. They're better and better. They're unity-based. They're learning-based. They're goodness-based. What, to get to a place where you're full of pleasure and you're full of happiness because you're in unity? No. No, where all it has stopped. Done.
Why is that a kind of scary thought to some people?
Because of the familiarity they have with the ego state here and activity. There's familiarity with, in the pool you're in, to get into the ocean is scary, even though it's a bigger place.
But we're familiar with it now, but I don't know, if you think about it all being on a continuum, then we were familiar with the other at one point too, and we're just evolving back to that.
That's what the sages say. That's what the ancient esoteric scriptures say. So
we just forget here, but then we're attracted to it as we are because it's also familiar.
It's your state. It's your familiar state. You want it back. But you will accept. You will accept substitutes. A boat. Sex.